All right, good morning, Math 8 students. This is Mr. Nancy. Wanted to say hello to you guys. Hang in there, 10 days of school left, and then it is summertime, and you guys will officially be ninth graders at Norwin. So let's finish up strong here. So the purpose of this video today, I wanted to go over the answers to this worksheet that you had completed last week, and just give a little bit of explanation because that'll help with the assignment for this week. So let's go down through. If you have the worksheet open that has numbers 13 to 24 on it, that'll be helpful as we're looking at the graphs on this video. So we start with graph M, and we're trying to find the domain and the range. So domain is where we look at the furthest point to the left. So to me, it looks like that's the furthest point to the left, right there, and then the furthest point to the right, which will obviously be here. So we want to see how far this point is to the left. If we're starting at the origin, we obviously count over 2 to get to that point. So the domain goes from 2 the whole way up to, if we count it over to here, that's 7. The domain goes from 2 to 7. The range is where we look at the lowest and highest points of our graph. This line on the bottom is the lowest. This point is obviously the highest. So we say, how low is this? This line is up 1, right? The origin would be 0, the very middle, and this line is up 1 from there. So that means that our range goes from 1 up to 6. So once again, our domain is going to be written as 2 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 7. And our range goes 1 less than or equal to y less than or equal to 6. That should be graph V. I'm sorry, this letter M should go with number 20. My fault. Graph M goes with number 20. All right, graph N. We again start furthest to the left, which is right here. It's left 5, that's negative 5. Furthest to the right is this point right here, which is right in line with the origin, so it's to 0. So our domain is negative 5 to 0, and our range is obviously the lowest point, which is right here. That's down 5. And this is the highest point. That's only down 1 from the level of the origin. So our range is negative 5 up to negative 1. So this graph N should match with number 15. Graph O. This is the furthest point to the left. It's left 4 from the origin. This is the furthest point to the right. It's right 7 from the origin. So our domain is from 4 to 7. Our range goes from the lowest point, which looks like it's at negative 7, up to our highest part of the graph, which is at negative 2. So our range is negative 7 up to negative 2. Graph O goes with number 18. Graph P. This one's interesting because the furthest point to the left is actually this arrow pointing to the left. That means this graph's going to continue on forever and ever to the left, which is all possible negative numbers. You might think of that as negative infinity. Now, they write this a little bit differently on the multiple choice, on the matching page that you guys did. They write this as x is less than or equal to 0. And here's why. This is at 0. The furthest point to the right is right at 0. This is at negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 5, negative 10. All points are to the left of it. So x is less than or equal to 0 encompasses all those points. Now how about the range? Well, this is the lowest point. It's here at 0 at the origin. And this arrow is not only going left, it's also going up. So the range is going to be all possible positive numbers. The way we write the range is y is greater than or equal to 0, which is number 19. Graph P goes with number 19. All right, graph Q. The domain starts at the furthest point to the left. That's right here. It's right at the origin, which is 0. It goes 5 to the right. The domain is from 0 to 5. The range is from 0 up to 7. So graph Q, since it has a domain of 0 to 5 and a range from 0 to 7, is number 14. All right, graph R. Furthest point to the left is right here. It's a 0. Furthest point to the right is here, 4 to the right of the origin. Domain is 0 to 4. The range, well, this is the lowest point at 0, the highest point's at 6. So the range from 0 to 6 and the domain from 0 to 4 give us that R is number 21. All right, halfway done. Graph S. The domain starts as the furthest thing to the left, which is this arrow. The furthest thing to the right is this positive 5. So similar to one we did earlier, this domain is going to be from 5 to the numbers below it. That's written as x is less than or equal to 5. The range is the lowest point and the highest point. Well, they're all on the same level. You don't ever go above or below this level. So the range would be y is equal to 0. Graph S goes with number 23. All right, graph T. This is the furthest point to the left. It's left 7. Furthest point to the right, it's at 0. It's in line with the origin. Domain is -7 to 0. Range looks like -3 up to +4. Graph T is going to go with number 24. Domain 0 to 6. Range 0 to 7. Graph U goes with number 17. Yeah, graph U is number 17. All right, last three. This one is letter V. Letter V has a domain that starts at -6 and goes the whole way over to +3. The range is from -6 up to +1. So graph V is number 13. Graph W, we go from -4, that's how far we are to the left, to +5, that's how far we are to the right. -4 to +5 for the domain, and the range is the lowest point here at -2 up to the highest point here at 5. -2 up to 5 for the range. Graph W, looking for the answer. Graph W goes with number 22. Finally, this domain, we go left 6 and right 3. -6 to 3 for the domain. The range is from -5 to -1. Graph X goes with 16. So hopefully that explanation helped a little bit, guys. If you have any questions, as always, please reach out to me.